This is the Mazzy Spring Mix. I don't know what number it is, but we're at the University of Washington, UW Cherry Blossom Festival. Look at this. Look at this. How beautiful is that? What music goes with this? What? Okay, photographer Emily. What music goes with this? What's the Cherry Blossom song, Em? Well, thank you.
I don't know. The first thing, no one's going to agree with me, so I just...
You don't have. Nobody has to agree with you. Hang tough. What's a spring song?
A spring song?
A spring song?
Well, the first song...
Not Bruce Springsteen,
No,
but
I know, no. I'm just... Middlewater Wood by Kate Bush. No!
Good choice. Good choice.
Wait, no, is that...
No, I don't know what that is. I'm not sure.
Middlewater Wood is Tori Amos. Oh, oops, I made that mistake. No.
Can you sing it? Can you sing it?
No, I'm not going to sing. That's wrong.
Running up that hill.
That's Kate.
That's Kate Bush. We know that. But look how beautiful this is. Everyone is freaking out here. Look at this. It's like spring break. Look at this. Mazzy's Mix number 25. Welcome back. Spring Mix. Did you see that little intro? The Cherry Blossom Festival at the University of Washington here in Seattle. And I was out spending a beautiful day with one of my photographers who is in town for a shoot, a photographer and friend, Emily. And we walked around the campus there, and they have this how beautiful is that? Come on, nature, Mazzy and nature. What a combination. Okay, Mazzy's Mix number 25. The mix videos, if you're new to the channel, when I just showcase new releases, new pickups, I might stick a few little video montage footage that I've gathered over the last few weeks. And we'll take it from there. Sometimes I do a featurette. I haven't thought of the feature yet, to feature an artist and do just a mini insert here. We'll see. It may or may not happen. And I will know before you, but it'll show up here. The first section of these releases, I want to showcase just from some people in the vinyl community who either have channels or who are viewers of my channel, amongst other channels, and have sent me things, or I have purchased a combination of them. And first I want to give a shout out to James Griffith. James Griffith is the author of this fabulous book, and I just literally started it on the band Squeeze, the pop music played. Squeezed, the band Squeeze. Cool for Cats. I didn't dive deep into Squeeze when they came out. I never saw them live, but I really like Cool for Cats, Up the Junction, that kind of stuff. So I'm very interested in this whole story that he wrote. And congratulations, James. That's that's a photograph of what James looks like today. And this is great, from 1978 to 1982, the story of Squeeze. So congratulations on this, and I'm looking forward to dive into it more. I literally just started it. The band Squeeze by James Griffith. All these people who have channels, and if it pertains, there are links below. So look in the descriptions. People tend not to click open the descriptions there, and you can find just abundance of information. Okay, Material Objects. Dom, who has a channel called Seeking a Thread. Independent vanity projects. Vanity always sounds so egotistical, but they're not. That's when indie self-published, self-printed, self-pressed, independent. That's what it is, really. And put out an EP with his band, Material Objects. What a great cover. The irony is, this reminds me stylistically of, not exactly the same, but very similar, and I'll show in a minute, to this. Just there's that certain color combination. Different illustrators, different artists, obviously. This is Sonic Youth. We'll get to that in a bit. But indie, little psychedelic, little moody, really great. He's a guitar player in this band and singer. And I'm looking forward to jumping into this more. There are 7 cuts of jammy, kind of surreal, beautiful, this beautiful package, right? And of course, it's on clear vinyl, which I really like clear vinyl. Although the weird thing about clear vinyl is when you're looking at it, it looks like it's not even spinning because you're seeing the grooves from the other side through. You know what I'm talking about. Those of you who have clear vinyl records, when you actually look down at it, it's hard to figure it out. But really beautiful press on this. Material objects, content versus creator. And looking forward to that. And congratulations, Dom, on that. There's a picture I took of the same thing when I was probably the same age, when I was 16, 17, 15, 16, 17. This is by Rex Anderson and Big for His Age 2. I think this is a series of tapes. So he grew up to be this person, apparently. And he is a viewer and reached out to me and sent me this record. And to be honest with you, I haven't dived into it yet. I've been busy with work, with play, with a lot of visitors coming through here lately, and just general life situations. Of course, also making videos here. So I have a crap load of records to play. Not to say that any of the records are crap, but I love the way he did this, and I think they're older tapes, somewhat. And it does include a CD version of it. So wow, that's pretty cool. Illustrations. So thank you Rex for that, and I will be getting to these soon. I have a pile of to play records. And lastly, in this section, Rocky O is one of my we become online like pen pal friends, and we've exchanged things. He actually sent me this record several years ago, and since I recently did a video on autographed records, he said, oh, I didn't send you an autograph copy, so he signed it. He signed it. To my friend Mazzy, you are the night beat piece, always Rocky O. And this is almost a beat poet type of situation, and with New York City ambiance and beat poetry. He's from New York City, now lives in the Midwest near Chicago, and what a kind of a cool self-produced project. 2018 Coffee Stained Records, perfect for the village type situation. And it includes, oh, okay. He saw my autograph episode and decided the one he sent me wasn't signed, so I appreciate that. Thank you, Rocky. I hope you don't mind. I'll pass on my other copy to a friend of mine, because I don't need both. Unless one's mono stereo, but I don't think that's the case. But really, Rocky, thank you. And thanks for the great support and comments. And there you go. So, now on to the next round. Okay, these are some recent records I got that are sort of semi-audiophile, a few special editions. And this just came in ELO. This is the Super Vinyl MoFi edition. Super Vinyl. Super. Okay, it's super. Super quiet. Their finest vinyl formula. There's a bit of pretentious thing going on here, and I'm getting a little tired of all this, like super this and super that, but wait, it's even more super, right? However, I think this is their best album ever, and you know, you younger people think the later stuff that's more danceable, that's more like Out the Blue and Face the Music, which I like those, and then they get into disco. It's just like, they almost didn't need Bed Bevan then, because Jeff Lynne would compress the drums so much. I think this is the sweet spot in their career, because this is an epic record. It's a record of its time, 1974, I think. And it's just beautiful. And I'm looking forward to listening to this version, because I saw them several times, and around when this album came out, I definitely saw them play at Winterland in San Francisco. And then a couple years later, I saw them headline at the Oakland Coliseum with Jethro Tull opening up. But this is the sweet spot. several albums after Roy Wood left. And I think this really captures that orchestral thing that they wanted to mix with rock and roll better than any album they ever put out. It's epic. It's very English, ye old English, and it's a gorgeous record. The record is not totally an audiophile recording with all the layers. However, my other copies sound really good. The UA, United Artists original ones, are a little noisy sometimes, so I hope this is better. But I do have a later when they switched to Columbia, when Columbia picked up their catalog later in the 70s. Okay, from Intervention. Intervention is an audiophile label based up here in the Great Northwest, just south of me, about 45 minutes. And this is Everclear, so much for the Afterglow. They've been doing some cool 90s records like Matthew's Suite, in addition to records by Gene Clark and the Flying Burrito Brothers, audiophile recordings with beautiful covers. They do the Stoughton trip, like they're one of the few labels that'll do things not out of the ordinary in terms of a time period when CDs were more popular. Not unlike the Tone Poets in style, Kevin Gray mastered Stoughton jackets. They have a small catalog, but a mighty catalog. So check out Intervention Records. I'll put a link to them below. And this is a period of time, where a lot of the vinyl was missed or rare if it's out. They've done things on from A&M catalog, as well as this that was originally on Capitol Records, I believe. So Everclear, that. And then a band that I just totally missed the boat on, and that's Mars Volta. And Michael from Poetry and Plastic kept pushing me to get this one out of all of them. And this is Deloused in the Crematorium. This is that period of time, and this is a Vinyl Me Please edition. And it's a little bit of psychedelic, doom, metal, artsy, with both the covers. This is one of the covers they had, and I don't remember all the history. I don't know all the history. You know more than I do on this. And this is a really interesting record. This is a grower. This is a record that you really need to kind of play over and over again. There's some interesting things in it. I think it's something you have to be patient with, but it's really interesting. I love the cover art, obviously. I think I like this more than this, personally. If I had to, pick one, this to me is a little more interesting. This is, to me, a little forced. It's cool. Maybe the audience who likes some of this music might be into that, but this is kind of one of those crossover records where people like me, who really aren't as much into this subgenre, would gravitate it because of this artwork. But I quite like this, but I've spinned it about 3 times now. I need to spin it many more times, because now it's sort of enveloping me, circling me. I'm enjoying it more right now. So thank you, Michael, for that turn on. I've heard about them for years, and it's, how there's bands you've heard about, you've heard of their names, you just never dived in. Well, Mars Volta is definitely one of it. I know in the last, couple of years, there's a big box set and reissue program, and they seem to come and go out fast and hard to get. So thank you on that, Mars Volta. The latest release from Analog Africa. I am all in on Analog Africa Records, and their records come out, I think they put out maybe 3, 4, 5 records a year. They're all out of Germany. It's a collection of artists, some comps from South America, from Africa, the various African countries. Some are psychedelic funk, some are just dance music, and they're beautifully curated. And we're not talking about audiophile records, but it doesn't matter. This is friggin' great music, funky, soulful. And this is Saturno 2000, La Rebajada de los Sonideros. My Spanish is off. 1962 to 1983. This is a double record. Most have these lovely booklets, expanded booklets on the artists. which are really lovely. So it's a tour of international music and an education and wonderful curation of international music. This is a part of their catalog. You can see all the titles, and I'm trying to get them all. A lot of them are out of print. Some they repress, but this is just fun, funky music. Again, this just arrived from Germany. I order them directly through Bandcamp, so it ends up being a little pricey with the shipping. Ends up being 45 to 50 bucks a pop, but I get them within FedEx within a week, and they're double records with the booklet. So I just think all in, it's a good value for what you're getting, and you're supporting a independent company. And he goes all around the continents searching for these records. Some are taken from vinyl copies, but they're just so good, and every one has a kind of a unique vision and funk to them, and I just love this stuff. Really great music. Some there's great guitar things, great percussion. So I'm really looking forward to jumping into this one over the next several days. Just love this, and I keep threatening to do a overview on this, but it's so in a way complicated talking about all this great music and each one individually, because I put them on and just let the music flow. I don't always dive into the historic of each one, even though I read these, but then it gets a little confusing thinking back, now which one was that? I could just showcase them and let you do the research. But I think it's a really important label, and it's so great that that he is curating this wonderful music. I just think it's fantastic. Analog Africa, a great label out of Germany. Follow it on Bandcamp. You can hear clips of the music on Bandcamp. Do it. I think this is going to be a series of records by Sonic Youth, and it's a curation of different it's almost like Sonic Youth's version of Mazzy's Mix, where they're taking some live recordings, studio recordings, tapes, outtakes, alternate things, and mixing them together. There's noise on here, there's rhythms on here, there's sort of a syncopated drone sound. If you know Sonic Youth, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But it's a really, really cool record. Not for everyone, probably not a place to jump into Sonic Youth the first time, but if you like Sonic Youth, this is going to be a really cool series. And they all come with their version of the obi, as you know. This is the side obi, not the ribbon obi. This is the one that fits on the side. Sonic Youth, their newest record called In, Out, In. It's kind of like, you know, when you talk about outside jazz and the avant-garde, again, it's really interesting stuff. Not for everyone, not for the faint of art, not for the first album if you want to dive in and test the waters of Sonic Youth. Live in Colorado. You deadheads out there, for some reason I never consider myself a deadhead, even though I saw them around 30 times, have a lot of dead, but 30 times is like nothing compared to Deadhead, as you all know. This is a cool record. Bob Weir and the Wolf Brothers live in Colorado. Don Was is on here. Jay Lane and Jeff Chimetti. And they do New Speedway Boogie, Hard Rate and Go to Fall, the covers. Very much like one of the offshoot Dead Jam bands. And this is a cool record. Really beautifully designed, curated. Look at the artwork on this. Really colorful. You like to see records, don't you? You like to see the cover vinyl. Sweet, sweet. Now this is a special record. This is, it's funny, it says it's produced by Dan Auerbach, but obviously he didn't produce these recordings, but I think he curated and put this together. This is Sun House, obviously not around anymore. This is one of my favorites pick of all these new sort of archival things that I picked up too, along with the Analog Africa and others. But this is forever on my mind. Stunning all new album. It's funny, I think this hype sticker is a little misrepresented because it says stunning new album by the legendary father of the Delta blues. So those of you and those people who don't think of him being dead might wonder about this. So it's just an album I guess never released, featuring first time on record Forever in My Mind and never heard recordings of Death, Letter, and Preachin' Blues. Really a fine record. If you're into the blues, into Son House, even if you don't know Son House, is this the first one you should pick up? I don't know, but it's available now, at least limited, possibly, because everything these days is limited. I don't care what you say. If you want something, you got to jump on it if you can. Easy Eye Sound Records. Never heard of the label personally. If you know anything about it, let me know. But look at that beautiful cover. I mean, look at that sweater he's got. How friggin' cool is that? Nicely designed. That the typeface, the type colors match everything in the photograph. So this is a winner. This is probably one of my favorite reissues, or I should say archival releases of 2022 already. I've been spinning this quite a bit. Son House, cool record. There's always jazz. Now there's the Blue Note Classic series, two that are really kind of sweet. Milt Jackson, vibraphonist, and this has the Thelonious Monk Quintet with John Lewis, Percy Heath, Kenny Clark on drums, Lou Donaldson. So basically the core of the modern jazz quartet, John Lewis, Kenny Clark, and Mick Jagger. I always get Mick Jagger and Milt Jackson confused because, you know, MJ and Michael Jackson, all the MJs. A lot of MJs in the music business, so I get them a little confused. But cool record. I like vibraphones. Sweet record. And if you peripherally look at this out of the side of your eyes, you think this is a Tom Waits record, but this is Time Waits, like Tom Waits for No One, that Rolling Stones song. The amazing Bud Powell, great piano player, great moody record with Bud Powell, Sam Jones on bass, Philly Joe Jones on drums. He got this great trio. Again, the Blue Note Classic series. And two really wonderful records that are just great dinner lounge, sexy cocktail records from the Prestige reissue series that Acoustic Sounds is repressing. Ballads by Cobb, Arnett Cobb. Moodsville. I mean, that's exactly what this record is. It's moody, it's sexy. This kind of stuff is great introduction for jazz if you just want that kind of loungy stuff that your partner will just crawl into your arms as you play this music. It's so good. I mean, there's some of the songbook classics they put together. Ballads by Cobb, a beautiful recording, a beautiful record. This is again from the Analog Productions series. They're repressing a bunch of these Prestige records that they're about $40 a pop, but they're the beautiful Stoughton jackets. They're pressed at QRP. They're just probably the best sounding these records ever have sounded, ever. And the other one, I know there's been several other people doing shootouts of this with the cover. It's out, I don't have another copy of this, and apparently the other printing is better. It's a little washed out, but I only have one, and this Gene Ammons record, The Soulful Moods. Again, it's exactly that. It's soulful moods. It goes with that Cobb record very much because it's cocktail, moody, sexy. You might get lucky playing this record if you're with someone to get lucky with potentially, or you might luck out with yourself on that night. Gene Ammons, Patty Brown on piano, George DeVivier on bass, and Ed Shaughnessy on drums. Again, really a sweet, soulful, moody jazz album from the Prestige series again. Those are both stereo issues. I think they have a mono series, so I don't know if they're pressing them in any particular order, but get on their list because they seem to come and go fairly fast. Happy Sunday. So Seattle Record Show in the Armory, Seattle Center. Out the window you can see, you can't see the Space Needle in Seattle. So we got Coffee Davis roaming around, Dr. Roberts roaming around, and some other friends, and got a bag full of records. Thank you, Amanda, for the tote bag, to borrow it. The big, thick tote bag from Women in vinyl. And have a lovely day, everybody. Mazzy loves you. The Seattle Record Show. If you saw the most recent whack-a-mole with the Archivist and friends, after we had like a little kind of an after party after the Seattle Record Show at the Armory this past weekend, and this is what I got. So I'm going to share these with you in this Mazzy's Mix number 25. Woody Allen, the third album. I haven't seen this record in forever. It's on Capitol Records. I'm a huge Woody Allen fan. I have the comp. If you like Woody Allen's stand-up period, the comp called, was it Woody Allen? There's several covers. It was on United Artists with the brownish sepia cover. Then it was reissued with the black and white cover with his hat down, kind of like that. It's a great record, the Moose sketch especially. And this is his third record. I am a huge Woody Allen fan, still like his films. I think he's one of the greatest comics ever and a great auteur. Just love this. So it was great to get to this. It was $8, and I thought for my collection, it has some punches, but it's in good shape. Woody Allen always. This Songs Ohio, I believe this is their first album. It's Jason Molina was the lead of this, really a project. It's him and different musicians, short-lived, and unfortunately he died at a young age. This is on Secretly Canadian, the label, and it is a really nice record. The Archivist turned me on to Songs Ohio. That's the name of this collective or this artist's projects. I think about 15, 16 years ago, I got turned on to these records, and I'd never had this record on vinyl. I have like the Magnolia Project, what's it called? Kind of all related. Moody, folky, dirgy, introspective, just really beautiful, I think. So there you go. Songs Ohio, I picked this up there. This was a white label promo of Tony Williams, the new Tony Williams Lifetime. This is from 1975 on Columbia Records, white label promo. I think I do have another copy of this, so I'm going to check out and compare them. It was actually really inexpensive. I've said this before, I got to know Tony several years, the last like 8 years of his life, through my photographer, Michelle Clement, who photographed his later Blue Note records. So I was able to be around this fantastic drummer, see him live several times with his group. But this is a cool record. Alan Holdsworth is on it, Alan Pasqua, and Tony Newton. So, Tony Williams, white label promo. A record I never owned, and I know it really well, and for some reason we used to play this in the store, but it's from the black exploitation film Trouble Man, but this great Marvin Gaye record, and I just wanted a copy, and it was reasonable. The cover's a little, not too bad, actually funky, but the record's pristine, and it sounds fabulous, What a friggin' great record. This is from 1972, Marvin Gaye. Ramones, I'm always all in with Ramones. I've spoken about seeing them in 76 and meeting the band in-store at a record distributor. I have this on CD. For some reason, I just never thought about it on vinyl. I've never even seen it on vinyl. I mean, obviously, this is 1986, is it? 1988. So that's that period they were still putting vinyl, but I just never noticed it. Double record. It was fairly reasonable. I think it was $35 for a double record of this. It's kind of rare. Ramones Mania, great comp that Rhino put out at the same time the CD version came out. So the Ramones from the record show. George Jones, one of the favorite artists that watching my friend Vernon when I worked in record stores, he hired me, got all in on country music, turned me on to him. He was a favorite of Graham Parsons. In the Shrink, $2.39 our price, America's most foremost country singer, comfy singer with the flat top, and what is the name of the song? I'm a People. I'm a People. Includes the great hit single, I'm a People. And it includes the bondage song, Blindfold of Love. George Jones. I'm all in when it comes to Ravi Shankar. I'll pick up anything on Ravi Shankar that I don't have, and surprisingly, I didn't have this. All these albums, most of his albums are on this period are on Rural Pacific music. This starts out with a fabulous theme and soundtrack, improvisations on a theme from Panther Pachali, the great Indian film. Sajayat Rai, I believe, directed that, and there's a trilogy of films, Indian films, that the music is so beautiful. And I'm a big fan of Indian classical music, as I've said on this channel before, ever since I heard George Harrison play the sitar on Rubber Soul, and then Revolver, and of course, The Great Within You, Without You, which I think is one of the most beautiful pieces of music that George Harrison ever composed, and works with those great classical musicians on that. I just love it. I just love it. I know a lot of people back in the day who were into rock and roll who weren't quite sure would skip that track, but I think it's the centerpiece, literally, of Sgt. Pepper. I love Ravi Shankar. Anything he records and I don't have, I will pick up Ravi Shankar. And finally, one more audiophile record that I didn't have. I don't have all of the Mo-Fi Dylan records, but I really like the sound of those. And so, of course, Blood in the Tracks, one of the greatest sounding Bob Dylan albums ever. I have several versions of it. I have an original, my original Columbia. I have the two variations of the back cover. This is a low number, 250, and it's just a beautiful sounding record. So I do have about 15 Dylan on Mo-Fi. I don't try to stress to get them all, but this one was available at, not cheap, but not crazy wacky, and it was literally in my hands at a record show. So I checked it out and I picked it up, saved on shipping and all that. So Audiophile recording Blood in the Tracks, 1975 or 4, 74, 75. Great album. That's the other back cover, by the way. Those are the two back cover options they had. And every time I say it, I get wrong which order they came out in. As I recall, this was the first one, and they changed it to this because the liner notes reflected the first version of the record before we recorded half the songs. But someone's going to tell me otherwise, and that's fine. So that's the Mazzy's Mix number 25. Thanks for watching. Hope you liked all the little bits here. Any comments, put below, subscribe, and like, and thank you for watching. Really appreciate it. Mazzy loves you.
We're in the seas.
We're in the seas. It's alphabetical.
You don't have any Bauhaus.
I do. That would be in the B's, not the C's.
Oh. I want to hear